What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one and the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's going on?
Oh, that's right. We had a pretty good show put together, and then Nintendo went and dropped a lot of bombs this morning. So we're going to be doing a little bit of catching up.
It was more like a gas bomb because I fell asleep.
we have different opinions of it.
Yes, we do. I know. I saw a lot of people on Twitter go, "Yo, this is sick," and I was just like, "Nada." Like, nah, man. There's so many. Nope. This was just not a showcase for me. I am looking forward to PlayStation showcase at 6 p.m. tonight. However, I'm gonna have to catch that later because I'll be out. But where everybody should be right now is live. Joining us 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, coming up on today's show is an interesting one. Assassin's Creed Red could already be in trouble after multiple people have left the company. That's not a good sign.
That's a bit of a scary sign.
Right? 343's founder has left the studio due to a family medical issue, and all future AAA Ubisoft titles will be $70, Scott.
Another one joins the price raise.
Yes, absolutely. But like I said at the top of the show, PSA, PlayStation will be having a showcase tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I had a quick press release late last night came in that today's show will be updates from Japanese partners as well as some surprises from developers around the world, Scott.
Okay, well, that leaves the door pretty open there, doesn't it?
I was just like, oh, okay, well we'll see how that one goes, because there's a lot on the table then for when it comes down to whatever that kind of showcases is going to be. Then I was kind of expecting at this point, dude, where is the God of War showcase, the state of play?
Yeah, well, it is tradition, right? They normally do have something preceding the ginormous release, and that's got to be PlayStation's biggest release in a very long time.
Absolutely. The last big one we had, I think, for PlayStation was Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
And that is it. So I was like, okay, now you're getting ready for God of War. Does God of War need a showcase, though, Scott?
If they do showcase off a lot, are you going to want to watch that? Or is it considered spoiler? Because we're a little bit too close. Yeah,
right.
That's the unfortunate part. Is that you can't avoid the spoilers a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Being in a state of play, I don't think A, they would spoil anything, or B, they even need to showcase anything. At this point, everybody knows who Kratos is. God of War is a staple within the industry. 2018 put a whole new spin on the franchise, and then moving forward with the latest one coming out, dude, just in like 2 months. I'm like, whoa, let's go. But let's get into today's show.
Christopher Judge a ginormous spike in his recent popularity.
Absolutely.
Ubisoft. May I catch us up on the Nintendo Direct before we get into it?
Okay, I'm flipping this back over.
I want to make sure we recap this one.
Yeah.
Because we have such a differing opinion on it.
Sure.
So I took some notes here. Rather scrambled notes, so forgive me. But Fist of the North Star, that's coming out in March, and that's, I know, not one for you. It's a little bit weird. It's a little wacky. But followed by that, they showed Oddballers, which actually looked to be quite unique, something interesting, a little bit of an RPG space. Cute look to it. Yeah. But cute look to it describes Tunic very well. Tunic is coming over to the Switch. We then have Front Mission 1 and 2, and these are remasters. Now, 2 was only available in Japan until now. And then they also teased the release of number 3. So from there, we go on to Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. That's a very Stardew Valley kind of RPG. Has a nice little look to it. That's coming in summer of 2023. Octopath Traveler 2. Okay, this game looks beautiful. I've not played the first one, but because of this and the trailer that I saw, I want to go back now. That's coming out in February 24th of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Fae Farm, I'm not so certain that one's for me. That's a little bit more of a Stardew Valley kind of RPG, but that's there for somebody, local and multiplayer. Theater Rhythm: The Last Bar. Now, this looks to be an amazingly big release. Theater Rhythm is Final Fantasy's music kind of game. Picture Guitar Hero, but happening sideways. And it has 380 songs from Final Fantasy, and even more coming in the form of Nier, Saga, and Octopath, and Live Alive. I'm not certain how to pronounce that still. DLCs are planned in the future as well. That's more than 380 songs, and they'll also have 2 and 4 player multiplayer. So that's something brand new to the series. I'm excited about that. More on Rayman and Rabbids Spark of Hope. That's coming October 20th. There's also Season Pass, they mentioned. Rune Factory 3. That's coming on 2023. And there's a new series launching in there. I'm not familiar with Rune Factory myself, so I'm not sure what a new series quite entails. Then they added more Nintendo 64 games to Nintendo Online, making that little bargain in my head a lot easier of a deal for me to accept now. We have Pilot Wings 64, Mario Party 1, 2, 3, everybody's favorite Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, 1080 Snowboarding, Excite Bike 64, and that led to the ginormous bombshell, which was quickly deflated, actually.
Yep, sure was.
GoldenEye is releasing on the Switch, and that is just coming soon. They didn't put a date on it, but they did mention that there will be multiplayer, online multiplayer. Now that's breathing life into a 20-year-old game at this point.
The more exciting part behind that, though, Scott, is when Phil Spencer tweeted out that Rare has tweeted, "It's also coming to Xbox Game Pass." So all the hype that just went into that reveal just got completely deflated, because now it's going to go to 4K on Game Pass. So
now we are taking a 20-year-old game, putting it to 4K. So there's not a huge value to most people in that regard. But the idea that it's coming to Game Pass, I already have Game Pass. Now, of course, because of Splatoon 3, I will be on Nintendo Online platforms. So this is just a little bit of a sweeten the deal for me. Now, there was more here to this. We got derailed because of the Game Pass conversation.
Yep.
Mario Strikers Battle League is having a second free update, and that adds Pauline and Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong is a big favorite of mine from the series. Then we have Atelier Rising. I'm not quite certain on how to pronounce it. Atelier Risen 3. And that is coming February 24th of 23. Now that looks like Genshin Impact to me. It looks very similar. Maybe a little bit more mature, and that would be tipping more in my direction. Switch Sports is getting golf. That has me very excited. Now, it had supposedly was supposed to come out in the fall, but now it's been pushed back to the holiday of this year, but they're still on track for that. Pikmin Bloom is a mobile game developed by Niantic, so very similar to the kind of map walking that happens in Pokemon Go, but a little bit of a Pikmin spin on it, and that led to a Pikmin 4 announcement. So a brand new mainline game. Pikmin 3, for those who don't know, became extremely valuable on the Wii U. And I'm not certain why, just a limited number of prints perhaps. Then we have Just Dance 2023, Harvestella coming on November 4th, Bayonetta 3 on October 28th, Rain Code, and that's from the developers of Danganronpa. I'm not familiar, but that tells me that there's going to be something weird about it. You are not exactly a fan.
Not at all.
Emphatically not a fan, I believe. Resident Evil Village comes to cloud, and the demo is actually out now. They're going to add DLC to that as well, coming on December 2nd. There's also Resident Evil 7, that being Biohazard, the 2 and 3 remakes, or remasters, coming to cloud as well. And then this one surprised me, Sifu. is coming to the Switch on November 8th. Now that seems like a difficult game for the Switch.
Dude, it looked awful on the Switch. I played it on PlayStation. That's the place to play it. Do not play this game on the Switch. If you don't have a choice, then okay. But if you have other options, play the other way. This looked bad.
No, they didn't show any motion controls, so I'm not punching through the game with the
right.
Wiimotes. Wiimotes. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Crisis Core is coming on December 13th. Again, a very large game. Very surprised about that. Radiant Silver Gun, a bit of a top-down shooter scroller. I haven't seen one of those in a while. That's coming out, or rather available today. Tales of Symphonia is coming early 23. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That is coming on February 24th. Yes, now Return to Dreamland, I believe, has been put out in the past, so I think this is a repackaging of sorts.
Okay.
I'm not 100% certain. There are dozens of Kirby games. And then, finally, the big reveal. The elephant in the room that's been there for years. The smelly elephant at this point in the room. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, it was just a reveal, a little bit of a trailer.
More of a title reveal.
Yeah, a little bit more of a title. What you see is Link dive off of a floating island, which suggests a Skyward Sword connection. But I'm not certain if that's true or if this is Breath of the Wild too.
Yeah, I don't know. Lots to be seen. So your overall impressions then, Scott, of the Nintendo Direct this morning?
Oh, we had a very different opinion on this, so I accept that. But in this case, to me, this was a little bit more exciting than Ubisoft Forward. Ubisoft Forward,
Ouch.
By comparison, the pacing was just a lot slower. There was that big slump in the middle. I feel like this one didn't have any of that.
That's fair. For me, I'm not a big Nintendo fan, so it literally. So GoldenEye was there, and I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And then Xbox tweeted out about it's coming in. I'm like, "Okay, well now I'm out."
Kneecapped it immediately.
Oh, dude, it just cut it off right at the ankles. It didn't even make it to the knees. And then from there, there wasn't anything else. For me, I'm just not the biggest Nintendo guy. I was looking over for Brad, Northern Nerdcast, who's live over on Twitch right now with us, and yourself, and maybe Nate to jump in for this. For me, Ubisoft was it. Yeah, granted, the beginning of the Ubisoft event was everything we already knew about, which was really disappointing.
Yeah.
It was more of the AC showcase, right? The Assassin's Creed, where Chan jumps in and it says AC Red will be online, ? We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know anything about AC Red right now. But Scott, what we do know is that Ubisoft employees claims developers have left company because of Assassin's Creed Red director. This comes from Daniel over Game Rant. Workers at Ubisoft Quebec are reportedly asking to leave Assassin's Creed Red to avoid working with Jonathan Domont. The same source, a member of the employee-led group A Better Ubisoft, also alleges that multiple people have left the company altogether to get away from Dumont, who has a reputation for being verbally abusive in the workplace. Scott, not called for it, dude. Like you and I. No. So here's the thing. We have a good relationship here within the studio. Well, we banter back and forth, and that's one thing. But no means are any of us abusive to each other. And that's where it stops. And if someone's abusive, let that person go. Fire them. It is that simple, right? Nobody needs that crap. Nobody wants to go to work when you're dealing with that stuff.
No, and one bad apple spoils the bunch. That still remains true.
Absolutely does, right? That's the biggest thing. Now it just ruined it for everybody who wants to go to work on the next Assassin's Creed. A lot of us grew up with Assassin's Creed and fell in love with this franchise. And a lot of people, when they get into game development, want to go work for Ubisoft so they can be a part of that team. And then when you get over there to have somebody just trash you all day long, that's just ridiculous. And it's not necessary at all. It's awful.
This is, at the baseline, this is an artistic endeavor as well. These people are artists and very technical workers. So to have that kind of shade in the room while you're trying to create art, it doesn't seem like a very good situation to me.
No, as reported by The Gamer, a member of A Better Ubisoft recently came forward to discuss the recent departures under a condition of anonymity. They described Assassin's Creed Red's director as prone to angry outbursts and unwanted sexual advances. and blame
Oh,
him for, quote, creating a climate of fear, end quote, within the studio. Dude, fire
there's
him.
where we
Problem
cross.
solved.
Yeah, there's where we cross from being really hard to work with into a criminality,
Yeah,
essentially.
absolutely. No, nobody should be sexually discriminated in any means. It is just unnecessary. It's a work environment that you have to go and enjoy and then trust who you're working with. And when somebody crosses the line, no, it's just
No, it's
uncalled
beyond
for.
being unprofessional in this case.
Well, you're the studio director, man. You have such a work placement to take care of everybody in the studio, and then you start treating people like crap. No, I don't tolerate any of that. You're fired if I was there. That's just problem solved. You take out the bad apple, dude, and then let somebody else take over.
Happened. That has never happened among our bunch, not that I'm aware of.
No, absolutely not. It never will. And if it does, that person will be fired. I'm just calling them out right now. So it just, it doesn't happen here. It never should happen. I don't care where it is, right? I saw somebody on LinkedIn the other day too. She posted that she was hit on by 6 people at a studio once for the clothes that she wore. And then she took a picture of the clothes. I'm like, it doesn't matter what she was wearing. And this is what I kind of commented back was, it doesn't matter what you wear. You shouldn't have to tolerate any of that, right? And it's just people need to be better. That's all. It's just ridiculous.
That's an old kind of outdated term too. Well, what was she wearing? That's really so irrelevant.
No, it doesn't matter, right? It really, at the end of the day, that is a person you're talking to, you're dealing with. Like, treat them with kindness and respect, and they'll do the same to you. You treat them like crap, well, man, oh man, some people just, they don't deserve to be in the position they're in if they treat people in that way. So. But let's get into some unfortunate news. 343 Industries founder leaves company due to family medical issue. This comes from Ted over at PC Gamer. Bonnie Ross, the head of Halo developer 343 Industries, announced her departure from the company she founded via Twitter just yesterday. Quote, while I had hoped to stay with Halo until we released the winter update, end quote, Ross wrote, quote, I am letting you know that I will be leaving 343 and attending to a family medical issue, end quote. Dude, this is sad news. Very, very sad news. Whether you like the state of Halo right now where it is, it doesn't really matter. Our hearts go out to Bonnie and her family, and we wish her the best, and hopefully they're able to resolve what's over there and come back as quickly as possible, because we already miss her within the industry, right? It's one of those, she's a pivotal point within the industry, and she's a very well-respected and well-rounded woman to be in this industry. And dude, here's my prediction. Once she's able to hopefully get everything resolved at home with the family, she comes back, dude, with a new studio.
I think that would be a nice turnaround. Yeah. I'm hoping this has just no further implications. Having a personal issue at home is always going to take precedent.
Absolutely.
Halo will endure or not without her.
Yep.
That shouldn't be the top thing on her mind right now. So that does make sense. And I know that this is going to swell a lot of that anger towards 343 again, just because it's back up in the news.
It might, absolutely, but
I'm just as frustrated as the next guy, but that doesn't mean we need to dogpile 343 now. And I don't believe her departure really means the end. Now,
honestly, if you can, just give Bonnie some space. Let her take care of what she needs to, and then when she gets back, welcome her with open arms, and we'll see where she leads next. And that's we wish her all the best, and her family. But Scott, let's get into the next one, as Ubisoft's big AAA games will be $70, according to CEO Yves Guillemot. That's my French for the day. This comes from Brian over at Game Informer.
I hear different pronunciations all the time, but I trust yours, actually.
Yeah. Hey, I am French. Just saying. That's as far as I got, though. Following the launch of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, multiple video game publishers bumped up the price of new-gen versions of some of their games. Well, Ubisoft resisted that trend. To this point, CEO Yves Guillemot tells Axios in an exclusive interview that it is making a $70 the standard price for bigger AAA experiences published by the game. Dude, a lot of games are getting there at $80, $90, depending on what version you buy. Also takes it up to even further. Like, I've seen games $130, $150, but it really just depends. But at a base level, he's like, hey, dude, I mean like Ubisoft titles, they're there at $150 as well, right? But at a base level, to get into the game itself, $70, Ubisoft is going to stay at that price. We've seen the climb of, just making a game. Are you shocked that Eves wants to kind of leave it where it is and not go to the $80, $90 price tag?
Well, being at 70, it is still an increase, which is negative news for the consumer in most cases. But you have to understand why this is happening. And there's twofold reasons for it. Generally, the economy sets the price of literally everything. And that's something that's happening worldwide. We're seeing, nobody knows what's going to happen, not for sure.
Yeah.
So prices are going up about everything. That makes sense that it would translate into video games.
Yep.
And then what's perhaps more important is that the scope of Ubisoft games that they produce are absolutely massive.
Yes.
You know this most firsthand, most recently from Valhalla.
Yeah.
Just think about the amount of hours of work that goes into that. And I say that I don't want to justify the price doubling or anything like that.
No,
I think that would be a bridge too far. But it does make sense that it would climb, especially in, the case of new generation hardware.
Well, games don't take just a year to make anymore, right? They're 5, 6, several years to make them. That's why you see Call of Duty. They come out, every year, but they have 3 studios working on those games, right? Like there's a difference, so that they have the time to grow, to make the next change, to make the next iteration, and produce the quality game that they do. Whether you like some of the Call of Duty games, dude, some of the best experiences are those Call of Duty games. Some of the best experiences are the Ubisoft games, and they're massive. Dude, the scope of where they've taken Assassin's Creed from Origins to Odyssey to Valhalla, and then the amount of DLC that keeps coming with Valhalla. Granted, not all of it is free either. Some of it does come at a price tag, but dude, these games are massive, and there's thousands upon thousands of people working on them. And at the end of the day, you got to pay your bills and pay the employees. But the fact that there's $70 instead of each game being $150, like, man, we're pretty. I'd say we're pretty fortunate. At the same time, dude, can you imagine a game being worth $150 at a base model, and then if you wanted all the extras, it's like $200? People will lose their mind.
Yeah, I think that would just kill the sales very fast.
Yeah.
But just imagine the bottom line in a company that size.
Well, that's, right? Like, whew, man, oh man. These games do come at a high price tag. They spend millions upon millions of dollars making them. I can only imagine what Skull and Bones cost them at this point, but that's neither here nor there. We'll see what happens. And apparently Assassin's Creed Mirage is currently listed at retailers for $50. So if you get in early, Scott, you can get that one even cheaper. So there's a little bonus right there, right? Which is kind of cool. It's nice to see.
Yeah, if you get a pre-order in now and then the price rises, I'm pretty sure you're still locked into that pre-order.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do a quick one here, Scott. Assassin's Creed 1 remake chatter shot down by Ubisoft. Ouch. This was Michael over at PSU. Ubisoft has dismissed reports that the company is working on a full remake of the 2007's Assassin's Creed for modern platforms. In case you missed it, the Assassin's Creed remake was rumored to appear as part of the Assassin's Creed Mirage Season Pass, which at this point hasn't even been better confirmed. You think that's a typo? Been confirmed. To be fair, the early leaks did nail everything we know so far about the game, but it seems that the remake isn't happening. Scott, that's pretty disappointing, man.
That's unfortunate. I was really hoping to run through Assassin's Creed 1, but in 4K glorious HD.
Oh, dude, it would be nice to have that one back again. They'd have to change a couple things. A lot of people are like, this is boring and repetitive. I'm like, I get you.
There is room for improvement, that's for sure. Looking back at a 15-year-old game, though.
Yeah, absolutely, right? That's what started the franchise, and look where we've seen it grow to since. But Scott, we do have a couple releases for today. What do we have?
We have Little Orpheus, and that's on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, Switch, and PC. Scourgebringer comes to iOS and Android, and 13 is launching on the Switch.
Dude, 13 making a return. It's been a while too. Since we've seen that.
I think it's been 20 years since I heard about that game.
Yeah, so we'll see. Coming to the Switch, also on consoles, I believe, as well. So you can take a look for that, Scott. Pretty exciting. Nice to see some of these games come back. It's been so long. 20 years is a long time. So bring it back. Yeah. I'm up for trying it. Did you ever play 13?
No. I had heard a lot about it, though. I can't wait to play GoldenEye, though. Let's do some in-office GoldenEye.
That sounds great. But until then, Scott, that's going to wrap up ITG Daily. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can catch us live over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as ITG on YouTube. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.